Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. My name is Tafnar, and today I'm going to be talking, as you can probably tell from the title, about Breaking Bad, specifically the end of season 5, so the last episode pretty much. I am going to warn you now, guys, if you haven't watched, I'm just going to say end of it, if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, why are you watching this? Go watch Breaking Bad. It's a fantastic series. I'm sure you've heard from multiple people, but there's a reason for that. It's because it genuinely is one of the most engaging, enthralling dramas ever to have been put on television. And if you don't want to buy the box set, go to Netflix, spend £6, watch it all within the month. You would have got your money's worth. So yeah, I'm going to put the spoiler tag in the title and obviously in the description. So I've covered myself there, guys. So yeah, season 5. Let me make a few things clear first. If there's a bit of background noise, sorry, I've got my my bedroom window open just to get a bit of a draft in here. It's a bit flushy and smelly and stuff. But anyway, let's talk about Breaking Bad. I watched them all on Netflix. It's been out, it must have ended at least 3 or 4 months ago now, Breaking Bad. The last episode must have aired, 3 or 4 months ago. And that was around the time that I started watching. And I decided I'm not going to watch all this in 2 weeks like I did with The Wire. Just totally obsessed with that program. I watched it all in, a few weeks. Instead, I'm going to kind of pace myself, because I felt with The Wire that when I talked to people about it, I missed a lot of the smaller details. I won't say missed, I just forgot, really, because I was so kind of like, watch, next one, and I had no time for anything within one episode to sink in. So I decided to do the opposite with Breaking Bad. I decided to, one episode a day, and take it as slowly as I possibly could, and kind of restrain myself from watching more. And that worked up until about the end of mid-season 3, I'd say. And at that point, I wouldn't say I lost interest, but I kind of just drifted off to do other things, as is wont, It just happens with things, especially when you're watching a series with, 15 one-hour episodes in it. You kind of just, again, not lose interest, but just drift away for a while. Need a little bit of a break. And then a month later, I went back and watched the rest of season 3 and the whole of season 4 within about 2 weeks, because season 4 is so intense, and it is without a doubt my favourite season. It has some of my favourite moments in television history in it. The floorboard scene, ladies and gentlemen, need I say more than that? But yeah, and so last night, me and my mum, she hadn't watched either. She hadn't watched the last episode. She said, right, okay, I'll watch it all, and then we'll watch the last episode together. And I was like, yep, fair enough, I'll catch up, and we'll watch it then. And so I watched all of season 5 within the last 2 weeks. Fairly happy. The end of season 4 for me, I think, personally, I would have preferred it to have ended there, for them to come up with a kind of more an ending with a bit more finality for Walt and Jesse after they had, finished with Gus. But personally, I would have, like I say this to everybody, if I could have picked a moment for the whole thing to end, it would have been the floorboard scene where Walt is confronting Skyler about where's the money. She's like, I gave it to Beneke, and he gives that crazed manic scream and then starts laughing hysterically. And for me, that was just perfect. I think a lot of people would have gone nuts if it had ended there, because obviously there's no kind of finality to it, but to me, I think that would have been a pitch perfect ending. Just cut to black as he's screaming and laughing, and these titles come up, and there's nothing behind them, no music, it's just the titles, and we never hear from Walt, Jesse, or Skyler and the family ever again. But obviously that would never have happened. This was always a series, certainly a plot where every detail was covered. Nothing was left unturned. There was always an explanation for what we thought was going on. So yeah, season 5. I like season 5. It's not bad. Season 4 is my favourite, as I've said, but season 5, a close second. There's some very intense moments, some interesting deaths. But I have to say, and this is probably going to be a controversial decision, I didn't particularly like how it ended. I'm not going to say it was a bad ending. I enjoyed it, and I don't think we could have had it any other way. Because obviously there was a finality to it. There was this sense of this is how it's ended. Some people are going to get a happy ending, some people aren't. That's just inevitable. In fact, nobody got a happy ending, really. They just got an ending, so to speak. But I'm going to say that I didn't like well, let me say, I think they should have, if they were going to do another series, they should have kept Gus alive for it, because we'd invested in Gus's character for a season and a half, 2 seasons, and these new characters, I couldn't, with Gus we had one character to point at and to pour all of our emotional kind of disbelief and hatred for this character. There was one kind of spearhead for that, and that was Gus. And obviously, they had to draw it to a head in season 4. I don't think they had to. They could have drawn it out for a little bit longer, but drawn out being the word there, the poison word. But yeah, I just didn't feel invested in these new characters enough. It seemed, I'm going to use this word lightly, and please don't take offence to this if you take it too harshly. I do apologise, but I think it was a bit of a cop out for them to introduce these new characters. It almost felt to me like, is it HBO? I'm sure it's HBO who publishes the series on television. Is that the right word? Publishes? I think so. But it's almost as though they said to Vince Gilligan and the creators, look, this is doing well now, we need one more series and then we'll leave it there. And that's how it kind of felt to me. It kind of felt like it was a little bit, I'm not going to say drawn out, because it was very well paced as always. There's no pacing problems throughout the entire series. It was just that I didn't like the villain characters, and obviously they'd done wrong. By the end they had Jesse chained up, and obviously they shot, what was her face, the guy, the lady with the kid, Brock. But I kind of felt like that could have happened by the hand of Gus, and it would have meant more if it would have happened at the hands of Gus. It would have been one more reason for us to despise him, and for him to, for us to want him to perish, in the fiery bowels of hell. But I feel as though, like I say, it was a bit of a cop out, as if they were saying, look, these are Nazi supremacists with swastikas on the side of their necks, and you should hate them all the more for that. And it felt like, well, I've invested in all this time in a character, that had a satisfying ending. I think the way Gus died, it was fantastic. The scene where he's walking up to the nursing home is one of my favourite scenes in television history. In fact, there's a lot of scenes in Breaking Bad that are some of my favourite scenes in television history. But the part where he's, walking towards the nursing home to confront Hector is fantastic. Fantastic. And what was I going to say? I'm getting carried away here by my own passion. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. It didn't feel like a satisfying ending, because there were these characters that I wouldn't say didn't care about, but wasn't emotionally invested in enough to kind of justify me wanting them to die enough. I mean, obviously, they did enough, and I'm not going to say that they didn't deserve to die. That's not what I'm saying at all. But Gus Fring was the bad guy of the series for me. And there's that whole argument surrounding Walton, how he is the ultimate bad guy within the premise of the show, and of course that's a reasonable opinion. But Gus, he was the spearhead for the villainy within that show, and I think personally I'd have liked to have seen him stretch over to series 5, and we kind of all end and encapsulate with him. Is that the right word, encapsulate? I think so. But yeah, that's about it really, guys. I think I'm going to be quiet now. Also, I hope you enjoy this Far Cry 3 gameplay. I've been playing a lot of it recently. Like the first video I uploaded was the first bit I played in, since its release, really. And I've been really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And please, leave your opinions in the comments section below. Just try and keep it, try and be nice to each other, guys. So yeah, I shall see you all in the next video, and I hope you have nice days, nights, evenings, weekends, weeks, whatever happens, guys. Keep it real, bitches. Toodaloo.